44. It's kind of what you'd expect, but it's interesting to see it laid out in black and white like this. And again, with the application usage, over 75% aged between 18 and 44. So you're looking at a fairly young audience, certainly not the older people among us. It tails off quite significantly over 44. We also looked at gender. I won't go into this in too much detail, but travel application users, almost 70% were male. Mobile travel service browsers, 63% male. And travel SMS users, 58% male. So predominantly a male audience at this stage as well. I have included income because to get a balanced view, it would be churlish not to. However, it is a bit difficult to assess this in any detail. From looking at the data across all markets and some of the Italian-specific data, it seems that higher income groups generally show higher penetration rates. I think that makes sense. To access these applications and to access these websites effectively, you really need to have fairly advanced mobile devices. You need smartphones, and therefore it makes logical sense that the people that are accessing this information are the better off in society, a lot of business travelers as well. Sorry, wrong button. Okay, this is just a small demonstration of one of the stats that I picked out to kind of come to those conclusions. In Italy, those earning over 105,000 euros, and I guess that's a fairly small proportion of the population, but fairly wealthy people, that shows a 3.8% penetration of mobile travel browsing compared to an average of 1.7. So, we're talking pretty low penetration figures anyway, but I would say that's a significantly higher penetration for that very high income group. Okay, so just to conclude, current mobile traveller in Italy, 64% male, 70% under 44, and comparatively well off. And as I've said before, travel application usage and mobile browsing is increasing, but mobile browsing is growing at a much faster rate. Now, these stats are actually very similar to early online travel customers. When it was first possible to access travel information on the internet, the customer was predominantly male and young and relatively well off, which I think raises a few questions. Okay, so I'll ask the question, but I think the answer is yes. Will mobile travel follow the online travel trend and grow? Significantly, and I'll come on to this in the next few slides, where in mobile do you invest? And this is specific for the Italian market, because online travel penetration is still relatively low. It's possible, actually, that mobile travel penetration, mobile travel transactions and marketing will overtake the online channel, and that could happen quite quickly. Okay, so I'm going to cover these 5 points briefly over the next few minutes. Where is mobile money going to be made? So where do you invest? Okay, the first point is, and I was talking to a guy from X Hotels who spoke this morning about this earlier, the whole trip being information-led. Now, because of access to information and because everyone has mobile devices, there's no excuse now why you can't stay in touch with your customer throughout their travel experience. And I think this is probably, over the next couple of years, the most useful way and the most likely way for travel companies to become engaged with their customers through this new channel. It's less intrusive. It's not direct marketing. It doesn't have the issues of transactions and the security implications of that. But it is a way of improving and increasing that engagement. And again, I don't know if all of you were here for X-Hotel's presentation this morning, but they were talking about the importance of engagement and actually talking about not a return on investment, but a return on engagement. And I think that's particularly relevant, at least at the moment, for the mobile channel. It's difficult to say, well, if I invest this much money, how much money am I going to get back? Because the only real way to measure return on investment is how many sales you get from a particular initiative. I think it's very early days for mobile commerce. There are still a lot of security issues or a lot of security fears, perceived fears to overcome. So I think that will grow quite slowly. But I think there are a lot of opportunities for companies to engage with their customers throughout the travel process, using mobile devices and using the mobile channel. So can the travel industry make money from this? I would say it's unlikely that people will want to pay for additional services that you can provide for their journey or for their travel experience. I would say it makes more sense to increase customer loyalty and increase repeat business by providing your customers with additional services during their trip via their mobile device. That may change in the future. It depends on how complex and useful these services can become. Okay, so talking about m-commerce a bit more, it is easy to make bookings, and I think the area that this will take off most quickly is the last-minute unplanned travel. I mean, that's fairly logical. Basically, people arriving in a destination without a hotel, getting onto their mobile device, finding a hotel, maybe finding a deal, maybe even being pushed information from your hotel or from your tour operator or from your destination. If I'd arrived in Florence without a hotel and the Tuscan Tourist Board had sent me information about hotels, that could have been pretty useful to me. So I think it's perfect for last-minute unplanned travel. I do think there's still going to be security issues, but as with online travel, there are going to be a proportion of people that don't care about that. The convenience outweighs the security, and I think this is where it will grow more quickly. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next slide. Reducing distribution costs. This is a tricky one because, again, the level of transactions going on mobile devices is really very small at the moment. So it's difficult to ascertain how much this is affecting distribution costs. The figures really aren't big enough to work this out yet. However, a major motivation for companies to go online and develop their online channel was the reduction in distribution costs that it led to. This could certainly be true of mobile. However, I think there's a note of caution to sound here. At the moment, online, the internet, it's the cheapest channel for most companies to receive a transaction. Mobile would also be a relatively cheap travel to receive that same transaction. However, if all that's happening is the people that did book online are then booking on mobile, then there's no saving there. There's no incremental saving. So what needs to happen in order for mobile to help reduce distribution costs is that people that are currently booking on other more expensive channels shifting to mobile. And I think there's evidence that in Italy particularly that may happen. I think there's evidence that in this marketplace the mobile channel will become, and maybe already is becoming, a more comfortable and more and more popular interface for researching and buying travel than the online channel.